So I have here the picture that you are going to find in site. It's good for you to have your own, because here it's in the screen, it's not that good for you to follow. So I won't even let it on camera for you to focus on the paper and in the palette work that I think is the most important part, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to start speaking a little bit about some knowledge we must have before starting drawing, okay? At first, I would like to talk a little bit about the kind of element we are going to draw and to paint here. We are speaking about stingrays since the beginning, but in fact, it's not a common stingray. It's called a manta ray. It's a specific kind of stingray that is really big. These animals are bigger than a human. If you put somebody here beside, it will be smaller than the ray. It's really big. So in our scene, we don't have this scale because we don't have a comparison point. We don't have a human swimming with them. We don't have a boat, anything. We only have them. But it's good to know that we are dealing with a specific being, and it's a quite magic being, right? Here I can, only with these simple lines, I can feel a little bit of that in my composition, right? And an important point about the movement of the animals is that they are working in a liquid atmosphere, a liquid environment. So they use this balance of their body to keep on swimming. And then we can establish some harmonious lines to distribute the animals on it. Like if there were some waves under the water, and then we can use this as guidelines for putting the animals. As I said, when I was speaking about the planes, if I imagine a square floating in the water here and not a stingray, I have to make the stingray fit the square in this moment. So when I see the distortion of a square, I can imagine how would be the shape of the stingray here in this square, you see? So it would be something like this, because I have a smaller part here, a bigger part here, a distortion that comes in the axis of the square, and it changes during the painting as I am distributing elements. So let's see an animal here in the upper part of the scene. There is a plane, there is a square where I can see the axis, where is the middle of the square. This is the axis of the stingray. This axis will tell me where will be the curve, where it begins, where it finishes, and then I can distort my shape according to a square. So I talked a little bit about the paper. So I showed the paper. Yeah. I'm using cotton paper, 300 grams. It's quite a small piece, but it's enough for us to establish this painting. So let's go to the other materials. I use here the paints from the tube. I put it straight from the tube here in the palette. I will even wet them a little bit. It's quite hot here today, and it draws a little bit fast. And then I like to use them all always with this creamy consistency. I put just a small amount of paints here, because I am always putting fresh paint to keep this paint density. Okay, I don't like to use the paints that are dry in my palette. Fastly here to see the colors I'm using. I won't use all of them, but I have here carmine as my primary red. Okay, so it would be the magenta as a primary red. The carmine makes this work very good. I have cadmium red that is almost an orange, right? But it's colored red, so it's a cadmium red, and cadmium yellow. That is my primary yellow. Okay. Here I can see a small gradient, but I have to emphasize that. And in this moment, I will make a blend of cerulean, cobalt, that is the original blue I used, and with a bit of Payne's gray. Here, it starts giving tone for it. This is working on the wet surface. You see, this part, we have dry surface, wet surface, and it's creating some things alone. It's working because I put that, and the water is doing its work, right? So it's something that I like to let happen. Because of that, when I do this kind of painting, especially if it's a bigger size, I let it dry alone.
So what I'll do is I will share. Can you see that?
Yes, very good. A very good exploration of the effects that are possible here, right?
Yes.
Very
yeah.
good. I think in this specific case here, two things I could comment. One of them won't make much importance now because we are still in the first layer. But you see that the rays that comes in a darker tone under the stingrays, they are being working in a part of this gradient that is quite dry. So it is very marked. It's very there are lots of hard edges in the line of the stingrays. But as we are going to paint over it, it will almost disappear, right? But it's quite important to make it while it's totally wet, because you won't have those stains to trying to cover and to deal with it in a next layer. And another point that is important too is the difference of tone in the border of the surface of water when it makes a border with the white in the upper part of the image. We see that it's quite strong. That part that is connected to the white is quite strong, and it makes it a little bit difficult to see the light coming from that part, because we have something dark that is blocking the light to shine. I'm saying this because probably the pigment was reinforced in a moment over the first wash, and it became a little bit darker because of that. The good thing would be to have it lighter in the border, and then it starts being darker in while it comes to down, right? To break the strength of this brown, that is of this warm color here, for it not to be that warm. Okay, the lightest part will remain like it is, but you will see that I will establish a separation that you can notice this way, and it will be stronger when we see shadow of volume, and from this part to the top, I will break this edge. So this is a good moment to use the flat brush. I said that it's good to break the hard edges, and only with a bit of water to connect what is ready and what I am painting now. So here you can see after drying how it integrates the white that we had made before with water and these ones we did now, giving some depth for this these white dots in the scene, totally incorporated in the texture of the painting.
Mm. So thanks again, and goodbye to Renato. Thanks, Renato.
Obrigado. We say in Brazil, obrigado. Thank you
obrigado.
So much to be here with me in my studio, and I hope the information and this meeting be useful for everyone.
It will. It will. Thank you. Thank you so much. A big round of applause. I will finish on your painting. Thanks, Renato.
Come on.